So, real quick on the topic of loop antennas, because I'm kind of thinking of a project here. Have you made a loop antenna for 160?
My very first loop antenna was for that band. It was 15 feet in diameter, made out of scrap aluminum irrigation tubing. Big old hexagon. I think there's actually a picture of one of its brothers on the QRZ page.
All right, 15-foot diameter. Was it a single turn?
Was it what?
Was it? I'm probably sure I'm answering my own question. Was it a single turn antenna? There wasn't like multiple turns?
Yeah, multiple turns don't get you much. I mean, the physics of loops is that your efficiency depends on your radiation resistance, and your radiation resistance goes as the area squared, which would be the fourth power of the diameter. So if you have a two-turn loop, you're cutting your size in half with a given amount of material, and then you're going to amplify your area by factor 4. So you really kill the performance. So one turn, baby.
All right, so for a 15-foot diameter, that's probably a pretty substantial capacitance then to tune it out.
I'm trying to think. I think it's about 500 picofarads.
All right. Thank you. No more questions, Your Honor. N1 BCG.
N1 BCG W2, good old radio.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we were just teasing you there before.
Hey, Gordon.
Hey, Clark.
That was Ted.
I know. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Gordon. By the way, to run a kilowatt, you want a 15,000 volt capacitor.
Hold on, let me turn it on.
Is that better? Actually, it's going to be running 1/10 of a watt.
So what is this capacitor thing about? I don't follow.
The net on my question has to do with a broadcast band loop antenna for transmitting. And I was just asking Ted about his exploits into 160-meter loop antennas. And he was talking about a 15-foot diameter one with a 500 puff condenser to tune out the reactance. And so I'm just thinking about the structure of this thing for slightly lower frequencies.
Oh, I thought he was talking to me. Okay, because he said, hey, Gordon.
Remember, put the frequency in half, you got to multiply the condensuration by 4.
I'm not wearing any condensers.
I heard a guy over at your shack that has condensers.
You like that guy, huh? I'm a force to be reckoned with. I have to call the YL back in the car. I will be back. You guys are starting to skip over me. And, Clark, you're warbling like you're in Alaska. It's so strange, the conditions. W2GOR, I'll be back.
But how's this junk doing?
He keeps reappearing. His wife puts a couple of drops in his eyes. He disappears, then he comes back, and he's back.
Yeah, well, it's like no sooner than I get in, it's like, well, you gotta have 2 eye drops put in you. And then it's like, well, finally. You see, Peter Sylvina's wife, Jane Pete, always sends up a care package, panettone bread, which he bakes. And it always arrives before Christmas. Well, we never got it. It's like, what the hell? And I went to the pissed office today, and it finally got put up. So it sat around in the pissed office for God knows how long.
Got a phone call.
So I gotta clean my cover. I was asked to slice and dice them, which I did, and popped a couple of them in the toaster oven and slices, and it's like, well, time to fix the WX and see what's going to go on, because then I have to deal with freezing rain and then rain tomorrow, but later on in the day, so hopefully I'll be out and back before the crap hits the fan. And then it's like, well, you know, I think we ought to check on the panettone bread. So it's like, oh no, it got a little crusty, a little burnt, but it was all right. In other words, it was soul toast. So the hog has been slopped. I'm going to hang out here just for a little bit, and then I think I'm going to turn this pile of crap off. Because, yes, the band is probably going to go long. Well, what a clear frequency. Jeez, it must be my breath. Does my breath stink? Or does it smell like panettone bread with butter?
They'll both be back home, and
Again, my ears pop due to the mighty silence.
Yeah, I think I might pull up my stakes, roll up my tent, and maybe go down on 160.
Man.
And by the way, for whoever is maintaining the glossary of Timtronisms, Pistophus, I've never heard that one before.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, I'm a newcomer to this. Sorry.
You never heard me talk about the pissed office?
Nope.
Well, now you know.
You must be a radio amateur.
I am. I'm sub-amateur.
Get with the program, buddy.
Hey, I have a subscription to the Timtron Glossary Addendum service, and I'm supposed to be kept up to date on these things, but apparently they haven't been sending me. I got to check my payments on those.
Well, maybe there will be a glossary of terms that may be for amateur radio consumption.
Well, I have seen a couple online. Oh yeah, there have already been some Timtronism glossaries online.
I've seen them, and some of them are woefully inaccurate.
Oh, it's like Wikipedia, you know. You have to get in there and contribute.
Well, you know, I got better things to do with my time, you know.
I can kind of believe that.
I had too much time on my hands, which I don't, you know.
Well,
I
now,
agree.
if you had more
That's
time, I've been really pressing you for those Timtron Institute of Technology learning video series.
Well, what I gotta do is set myself up with a good video camera, a good video production setup, and space and place to do it. And I just keep spinning my wheels.
I think you could probably send B-roll to a number of people who would be very excited to produce it for you.
Yeah, well, I thought of all these different scenarios. I got to get the raw video going first.
Well, you've got the lab coat. You just need a blackboard and a pointer.
Well, you know, I'm going to do a test setup. There'll be Ranger dequalification, audio transformer measurements, what makes a good transformer, what makes a bad one, fun and games with a transformer that's already dead, the proper construction and use of the Slimatron, you know.
Exhuming that dead iron.
Well, you know, iron that has a short in it, you know, that would otherwise be fusing, popping, blowing. Me, I use a very high current suicide cord and make sure there's pennies in the fuse box and plug it into the wall socket. I used to do that back in the 60s. TV transformers had died in my gear in the line of duty. And they'd sit there, and then you'd hear, and then the smoke would begin to bellow out the end bell holes for the leads, and then it'd be bubbling and frothing even more. And finally, there'd be a zorch as it breaks down and arcs internally and burns off one of the leads, setting the fumes on fire, so there are flames coming out of the thing. Well, by that time, you see, I already wired up a coat hanger to it to pick it up. So I'd pick the thing up, and I'd have a bucket of slimy water, and I would just dunk it in, and it would go... when it cools down.
I would bet good money that that's not in the Peter Dahl procedure manual.
Then after things cool down, you take the end bells off, all the paper's gone, remove the wire and use it for antenna wire, which I did. But the problem is, I didn't realize it, but I ruined the temper of the wire, so it was forever breaking.
Well, I was going to try whatever the solution is to fix a modulation transformer, but I see this would take it in the opposite direction. N1 BCG.
Yes, it would. 10 past the top of the hour. This WA1HLR on the Junkston 600. KM4XG.
See, now I missed the old Junkston 600. Isn't that the one with the...
Same transmitter. I just debunked the mechanical hum. Well, you know, I could add a toggle switch that would go back to AC on the coil and get the buzz back.
I'm telling you, some people are going to miss it. Maybe that's what you need. You need a power supply switch, AC-DC.
Exactly. You know, there's probably about 28 volts DC to close the relay, so you just have like a little double pole, double throw switch that feeds 120 volts to the equation, like it used to be. So it's like, all right, you asked for it.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, it did have a signature sound, Tim. I think you remember when you fixed it, I was disappointed. I mean, there was a lot of ambience there. You know, it sent a message of some kind. It was kind of spooky and mysterious at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you that well, Gene. That thing just does not have enough modulation. I got the audio cranked up loud enough for Clark. And with you, I gotta concentrate. It's too bad you're stuck with that thing.
I'll relay. Jim was saying that he liked the sound of the Junkston 600 previously, as it reminded him of a Steely Dan or something like that.
$890 that he might sell.
See that? Time to get the swap meet on the air.
But you'd have to talk to him about it and shit can that 7300.
He doesn't know about my plans for this thing.
Does Homeland Security know?
I thought everybody knew by now. Now I'm going to take this mobile when I get the 765 repaired.
Well, see, that's all part of the fun of amateur radio.
Yeah, it's just kind of a temporary play toy right now. I think I got it pretty much all wrung out, actually. I mean, for my purposes anyway.
Sounds all right here in Southbury, Connecticut, KV1AL.
Thank you. Checks in the mail. KM4XG.
Okay. Yeah, over here in West Central Connecticut.
Well, Timmy, I wish I had all that on tape, because that was wonderful.
What was that?
I say I wish I had it on tape. Your description of the explosion of the transformer was awesome.
Well, that's what it sounded like, you know. It left me a big impression in my brain. The bubbling and frothing of a transformer as its insulation burns up.
It impressed me, and I wasn't even there.
Well, we're going back to like 1966, 1967. And that, my friend, was a long time ago.
Maybe it's time to set up a science fair table, an HLR science fair table at Nearfest, and you can demonstrate some of this fun.
Well, I couldn't get away with that because of the fire danger and the stench.
Oh, well, stench would blend right in, and as far as fire danger, people like things like that. Yeah, fire.
Yeah.
Tim, you need a YouTube channel, man. You can make a fortune.
You know, we were just touching on that topic a few minutes ago.
Yeah, but then when you're on that treadmill, you gotta keep producing.
Oh, it's true. The fan base starts to get really militant. Like if you start doing them weekly and then you miss a week, all hell breaks loose.
I can't deal with that.
Maybe you just do what you do. Set a camera up in a corner of your shack and just live stream yourself.
Oh, wow, the Truman Show.
No, for real, man.
Well, what I would have to do is have about 15 or 20 of them. Then upload one every week or so.
Hey, you know who's got a fancy rig like that is Mike, that dog, WA4D. You know him. He's got a camera, did like 3-4 different camera angles on his operating position, and well, he doesn't live stream. I guess it's some kind of link. He did it for me once. I don't know if you've seen it. It's pretty cool.
No, I really don't cruise it's on QRZ.
Yeah, he's on QR Zipper. You don't know Mike?
Oh, boy.
Well, I thought he knew everybody.
He's famous on 7200.
No, man, Mike's famous everywhere, all over the world. Anyway. Well, yeah, check him out. WA4 Democracy.
I did hear him on. He's one of the regular stars. He's a part of the regular cast now on 7200. And he was on doing battle with, well, a whole bunch of people simultaneously. And boy, Jim, I'll tell you, if I ever wanted to have a recorder going at one particular moment, it was when he keyed up in the middle of, like, all hell breaking loose and told another ham, "You're a bad ham."
Well, he may have lost a step, but he used to be the worst or the best radio ass kicker in the universe.
Just the way he said it, it's like, now that is fan-freaking-tastic. God, I would listen to that drop over, and actually I'd use it on the air too, because it's so applicable, but the way he said it was just priceless.
He's a master at that. And good old Texas boy. And United States combat veteran. Yeah, that guy, he's something else. Well, anyway, I didn't know he was in regular battle on 7200. I'll have to look him up. Because it's been many, many years indeed. But I forgot what I was going to say about him. But anyway.
Well, he got a greeting card from Riley apparently, and he showcased it on QRZ.
200 dimes or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Hey Perry, what's up? Speaking of radio pirates.
Yeah, speaking of, you're a bad ham.
You're a bad ham.
What did I do?
How long ago did he get a love letter from Riley?
Oh, that was recent. He and apparently a whole bunch of other folks got these letters that said to shorten it down is basically like, hey, stop clowning around on, doing what you're doing on 7200 because this company wants to set up these solar places, fields of solar panels, and they interfere with ham radio, and if they were to make the argument about why ham radio isn't worth protecting as a radio service, they would play recordings of 7200, and so he was contributing to that, and so he posted that letter on QRZ, and people had lots of comments about it, but he wasn't the only one who got that letter. Apparently the letter went out to a whole bunch of folks. Of the starring cast of 7200 apparently all got those letters.
Every once in a while I'll cruise by there, but I haven't heard anything really compelling to keep me listening. Besides that, listening to Slop Bucket after a while is just plain annoying.
Was that the dog you're talking about there? Maybe one of y'all.
The dog.
Yeah, man. Anyway, good evening, Timmy. And all. W3MMR. Good signals down this way. Yeah. Not everybody jump up at once.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know. What is it about 40 meters and solar panels anyway?
The thing is, I'm kind of suspicious about the letter. I didn't want to get in on that thread because that's one of those threads that is so, easy to ignite in any different direction. It's just like it's not worth it. But I thought it was kind of unusual that the letter. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be authentic, but I had my doubts on it. I mean, like there were typos. Really? Riley? Typos? A lawyer? It just didn't seem right. And to cite something like that as a reason for people to behave, it just seemed, I don't know, it seemed awkward. So but to get on the thread and say, no, I don't think that's an official letter, that just opens up, like I said, a can of worms. But apparently that was the gist of the letter, that there's a big push. And what it is there was some company that makes solar panel fields, like really major installations, not like for your house, but like for a town. And they have these electronic systems that, according to the letter, will switch the panels used based on cloud cover. I mean, that's like if you have one of those windy days where they've got the cumulus and the clouds are blowing across and they're casting shadows here but not there. Apparently these circuits will switch these panels, whichever are producing the most, and focus on those and switch out the ones that are in shadows. But apparently that circuit is very noisy and would be a big issue on the ham bands. And the idea is that if ham radio operators were to complain about the noise, then it would be cited that, well, you guys are a bunch of goof-offs anyway, so who cares, because why are we trying to protect you from interference when this is the kind of stuff that you guys are doing? And then they would use 7200 as an example. The interesting thing is that those panels also create interference to other parts of the shortwave band, which are highly protected, and so it's not just like the ham radio crowds. I don't know. It just the whole thing is just kind of like a big question mark all over it. And one BCG.
Yep. SW81HLR. Well, the whole thing is yep. Basically, 7100 to or 7000 to 7200 is worldwide exclusive amateur radio. So what about all these other countries that allow operation there? It just doesn't seem to make sense. And why would they have something that generates that much interference?
See? Lots of questions.
Yeah, lots of questions. Certainly doesn't meet Part 15 spec.
I'm lost. What are we talking about?
Never mind.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured. Okay. Yeah, I was probably over my head anyway.
No, it's just the story started a while ago, and it's a fairly long story.
Oh, well, that's fine. I can always just go back and watch it again.
There you go. Just hit the rewind button on 3873.
I have DVR on ham radio. Ah, man.
Again and again and again.
Why don't you stream 7200? That seems like perfect for the internet.
I don't know. I should probably do that while I'm not here at work. That would probably, that would probably be pretty cool. Good idea. Maybe, maybe not.
I think I'm being a bad influence.
So I guess the theory in the matter was that the fellows on 7200 are not performing a public service.
Well, that they would be, a recording of them would be used against why the band should be protected from interference. That seems to be like the net.
I wonder how that would work as a legal theory. Because these guys use their privileges like idiots, they don't deserve their privileges. Well, that kind of makes sense to me.
Well, they only represent a small percentage of the users.
Well, that's it. And then you can also play, other QSOs where there are real discussions going on. And then there are real nets, like, the Maritime Net. That's a different band, but, there's very legit uses of the frequency. So it's just, again, lots of questions.
Well, I guess it really points up the difference between a privilege and a right, doesn't it? Because, we're all free to exercise our rights as foolishly as we please, I guess. But not your privileges. Now, see, if you exercise your privileges foolishly, they will be taken away.
Yeah, amateur radio license, it's a privilege. But contained within the privilege, there are rights.
Well, that's interesting.
I want to hear about it.
Such as, interference, protection, dealing with a number of things, It's not just a privilege to, say, deal with malicious interference or other situations like that, that's a right. You have a right to use a frequency that's not being used, you know? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and you made me think of an interesting point where, hams are protected against malicious interference from consumer electronics as well, to a certain extent. I mean, if your antenna's, going over like someone else's, like right next to their property, there might, and if you're battling it out with your neighbor because they had a loud wall wart or something and they were being a-holes and wouldn't turn it off and so on and so forth, and you get it down to the FEC level or up to the FEC level, I guess they could be like, well, you got to move your antenna, but for the most part, no, man, we're protected. I wasn't there some talk that they were trying to say that hams were going to be, or trying to change it to where hams were going to be protected against HOAs, but it fell through or something. Do you guys know anything about that?
I wear a radio condom.
It involves a mask and a vaccine.
And we emailed one of my congresspersons, and their office got back to me, and I basically explained that amateur radio is first-line homeland security in times of an emergency. It's homeland security communication, where it should be protected that every dale, hill, and borough and abode where an antenna can be put up and individuals may communicate amongst themselves in times of an emergency. But if an HOA, or HUA as they call them, head up ass, prevents them from doing that, then that seriously impedes the ability of a radio amateur to communicate when it comes time for distress and emergency communications because of some stupid HOA.
Now that's a point that I could get on board with.
Hey, Perry. Hi, guys. W1IA.
I knew you were in there, but I already forgot. Sorry. What's up?
I wear a radio condom.
Restrictive covenants before you buy the house.
What's up, Brent? Good signal, man.
Yeah, man. I'm not even on the array. I'm just playing around. Hello, Tron. Hello, guys. Yep, I wear a radio condom. Protect me from all you crazy bastards out there.
Hi, Brent. I see you're feeling better than you were earlier.
Yeah, John Deere sucks.
Yeah.
What happened?
That friggin' thing ate 2 cylinders, Perry. Melted the pistons and rings.
Again?
Yep, and I got a theory. The friggin' sodium silicate is in the small passages inside the block, and the sleeves are overheating. I'm screwed.
I don't know, man. First of all, to be honest, Brent, I've never, my about 20 years of doing this, I had a head gasket sealer, ruin an engine, and then for it to still, after it being to the machine shop multiple times, and it, going through multiple parts cleaners, and professional steam cleaning type stuff, and so and for it to be enough to ruin the engine again, to melt it, I don't know, man.
Well, it's either that or it was airlocked, Perry. I'll never know. At this point, screw it. At the point where, here's my biggest fear. You can't tell where the microscopic galleys go because you don't know the internal workings of the antifreeze galleys to the main port. So, if my theory is this: And Mike was confused, the shop foreman doing the machine work, and he and I talked about it. He said, well, maybe it was airbound, but the temperature gauges are on, the sensors are on the friggin' water pump housing instead of on the block. So we don't know, and I don't have any faith in that block, because the sodium silicate, the only way to really get it out is with muriatic acid or lye.
Now, alright, let me think about this. So you're talking about an overheating issue now, where you're saying the cooling system was airbound, false temperature readings, overheated. Gotcha. Because air is a biznatch. You know, I'm not gonna lie. We've had multiple vehicles from other shops come in from overheating issues. They can't figure it out, and it just ends up being airbound. Ends up being a ton of air in the system. No heat is caused a lot of times by having air in the system. But so what? It overheated, possibly, and you're thinking like it blew the head gasket and then it melted down these two cylinders?
Yeah, the same two cylinders that failed probably started with cylinder one. Here's the frustrating part, Perry. It ran for an hour, bebopping around the property with it. When I put a heavy load on it, the heat must have increased. The water flow around the jackets was inadequate, and that's the theory behind the failure. So the block is junk. Unless they let me take the short block and acid bath it for a few days.
Man, dude. Well, you're already in a crap ton. Okay, so it originally had the head gasket issue. I remember that. It was like blowing exhaust out the side of the head. I remember seeing the video. And then you took it to the machine shop, right? Had it fixed the first time. They decked the head, decked the block, did blah, 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 blah. Didn't you, have to buy another cylinder head or something?
I didn't need to, but I did have to snake out the 200 thousandths galleys on either side of the center cylinder. Unlike a big engine, the galleys are only 250 thousandths.
Okay. Oh, man. I don't know, man. It sounds... So, you put a new cylinder head on it, but this is the original block, so maybe there's an issue with the block. I mean, did they mag flux it and pressure test it and do all that?
Yeah, they did all that. Everything is fine. The problem is this. I believe the cylinder one sleeve, the antifreeze galleys coming off of the main trunk line are still plugged. It didn't blow a head gasket, and it didn't blow it out between the deck and the block originally. It opened up the compression ring to the antifreeze channel. That was the original failure. I added sodium silicate and it screwed everything up. So the block may be garbage.
Oh, man. And what didn't you buy this thing as a project or thought it was like you got a good deal on it or something?
No, brand new 20 years ago. Always had a head gasket problem. I knew that. But anyway, don't mean to hijack it. I'll turn it back to the masses. But anyway, this complicated story. I created my own monster. So now I'm looking at a short block. John Deere wants six grand for a short block. It's either that or I go down to Staten Island and buy a rebuilt with a guarantee on it. It's about six grand. I'm having trouble speaking. It's not drinking, it's a head problem. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, we'll talk about it sometime. Not that you need another mechanic story, but I'm screwed. I don't have any faith in it. They could rebuild it. They're going to hone bore it out, go 10 or 20 over, new pistons and rings, put it back together, and we'll try it one more time. If it fails, I'm going to just junk the motor.
Man, I didn't know you had it for that long. Huh. That's a bummer, dude. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, maybe at this point I'd try to find another engine for the thing, but I mean, that's a pretty rare bird. Isn't it? Like a 3-cylinder diesel garden tractor from John Deere. I mean, I haven't seen too many. Well, I'm not like a farmer or I don't run a small engine shop or a machine shop or work on tractors, but you get what I'm saying.
Yep. Well, I'm pretty frustrated, Perry. But that being said, I was talking to Timmy. I just got a call from the machine shop. They said, yep, it melted 2 pistons. It's like, oh my God. And I talked with Mike about it, the shop foreman, and he knows I know my stuff. And after I suggested acid bathing the block for a few days in muriatic acid, I'm gonna, last ditch effort before the machine and hone bore the sleeves again. I got a new set of sleeves, but they're not gonna put them in for dry sleeves. I still won't know if the galleys are plugged, so I'm screwed one way or the other. W1IA, throw it around.
All right, man. Well, we'll talk about it later. Shoot, that's a big bummer. Oh, man. Shoo. Anyway, yeah, who else is all left in here? W3MMR.
WA1H, y'all are in the monitor mode.
Hi, Shimmy's in there. Shimmy.
Good evening.
I'm kind of having a Debbie Downer day today. I had to send my Christmas toy back to the store, and they said it's going to be a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks to get the new interface.
What broke, Jim?
Yeah, it was right out of the box. Channel 2 was down about 24 dog biscuits, and nothing I could do to save it. And I even swapped out my son's unit. He's got the same unit, and it worked fine, so I boxed it up and sent it back. Yeah, I spent the whole day on the phone with the guys. Talked to 3 agents and got 4 emails just to send it back. Oh, my God. What an ordeal.
What the hell is it?
It's the interface, the 24C. It's a PreSonus Studio 24. It's just a little box. It converts audio into ones and zeros for a computer.
Oh, okay. I was curious. Thank you.
Yeah, I run an ADD converter here. It's a mic pre, USB mic pre is what they call it. I run a Behringer UMC 202. I have a PreSonus as well. I have an old PreSonus Audio Box 22 VSL, but as keep it simple with the SDR, man. It's just ADD converter into the SDR via virtual audio cable, and use the processing that's built in. Small, compact, boom. I used to run my rack gear with it and all that stuff, but I'll put that on, on my other rig, so that frees up all my rack gear and everything. It's just one little tiny small box. It's super clean. It's got plenty of gain. I'm using an SM7B with no, no level boost from like a cloud lifter or something. I mean, it's straight into the mic pre, and I still got plenty of headroom.
So you're saying I could come out of the 24 Charlie and right into the 7300?
Well, no, I don't think so. I go into my computer, and then that goes via virtual audio cable into the 7300, into my Anon.
Oh, okay, that way you can use all your plugins and stuff. I see.
Well, yes, if I was using plugins, yeah. I don't use any, like processing, external processing in the PC. I don't use any like, I don't even know what it's called, Live Studio and all them free downloads and plugins. I use the 10-band EQ, parametric EQ. It's in the software, multi-band compressor, and some AGC leveling, things like that.
That's interesting. This thing came with a bunch of software that I downloaded. I still got the software, so I'm going to play with it while I'm waiting for the new hardware to come in. But I guess there's no reason why it couldn't be used with other software. I have to look into that. But it's just a USB-C DA converter. A to D converter. And I guess in theory, there's no reason why I couldn't run some other software with it.
Well, can you go and like interface the 7300 via your PC, like, because I know you can. It has like a sound. Does it have like a sound card built into it? For using for FT8 and things like that. You can interface it with a PC. I'm sure for that. So. Yeah, I'm not sure, because it's funny you said this. A buddy of mine just messaged me. I was asking me about running USB audio, basically the same thing you're trying to do, into a 7300. And he was thinking that you could use, I guess it's like plug it right into the 7300, but I don't know. I'd have to read up on the radio.
Well, up until now, I haven't really thought about using it with ham radio. Interestingly enough, I got it for a completely different purpose. The software that it comes with is for doing multi-track recordings, for making music.
Oh, okay. That's what was the model number of the PreSonus you ordered or whatever?
It's 24C, 24 Charlie, and I think you mentioned the software. It's Studio One Artist. It's called version 5.
Okay. Yeah, they have. Well, see, okay, that might be that like thing like for all the plugins and stuff. I know there's an interface like software that you download that runs in the background with it. I forget what that is. That's called. I used to have it on my PC, but I deleted it. But okay, cool, man. Yeah, real good.
It got me wondering now, whether or not it could be used to drive the interface in the back of the rig, or like you say, just hook it up to the computer, because there is a computer connection. I haven't hooked this 7300 up to the computer yet. I haven't played with it, so I don't know if I'm going to actually. But I don't know. I might have to try it now. KM4XG.
Alright, I'm gonna try something here. Okay, 1, 2, 2. Yeah, see? Oh, hold on, let me turn this radio down. HT. Yeah, see, okay, now I don't have those weird audio peaks in there, man. Alright, that's better. I was running this adaptive pre-distortion on the SDR, and it looks like I put some funky stuff in your audio. I don't know why. Anyway. Yeah, cool. Processing. Clark's favorite discussion.
That's right.
Hello, Clark.
Good evening.
You sound bodacious.
I have so little control over how I sound, I just take however it is.
Well, reach down and squeeze and see how your audio is.
Yeah, reach down and touch faith.
They know.
My personal heat thought.
What's that song? Don't touch me there.
Whoa.
Oh, well, there was that song going back to, what was the 90s, Divinals, I Touch Myself.
When I think about you. It's like when I think about you. I don't want anybody else.
Ha! Don't quit your day job.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Karaoke Saturday night on 3873. Karaoke night.
Yeah, you can be blasting it off. I'll do it.
We'll call it the 52 Gender Net.
I identify as a toaster. Actually,
I'm calling it HeteroNet.
Nasty looks. I was back in August. I was at this hotel. I'm knocking back drinks with a friend of mine, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I really got to go. And so I'm kind of like, fast-paced walking through the lobby, looking where the men's room is. And I didn't see it anywhere. And so I was like, how the hell is this? And so then I get to these stairs, and it points down. It's like restroom down the stairs. I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe they don't have it on the first floor. So I go down the stairs, and I get to the next floor down, and there's just, like, doors which are like janitor closets and stuff like that in a utility room, but no bathroom. I'm looking around like, you've got to be kidding. Where's the bathroom sign? And then there was another sign that pointed down again. There was another flight of stairs. I'm like, you've really got to be kidding. So now I'm like running down those stairs, and it's, the meter is starting to get in the red area. It's like, oh, this is really getting uncomfortable. And I get down to that floor, and it's the same thing. It's like, this is
1 2 3 4 5 6 6 6 1 2 3 6 5 1 2 3 1 2 hello 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2.
Well, so took care of things, and it was like in the last seconds of keeping things together. So I'm washing up, and I'm walking out, and this woman walks in and gives me this look, and I'm like, hey, it was an emergency. I had to identify as a woman just for a moment, and I'm going back to being a man. Have a great evening.
You're nuts.
Oh, no,
he
that's
wasn't.
what was about to explode.
He was nutless for a second.
Oh, yeah. It was an emergency.
That's when you look at her and say, are you assuming my gender?
Yeah, I could have engaged her in that line of topic, but I really wanted to get, 5 flights back upstairs and join my buddy with drinking again, so I didn't want to tangle with her, but, jeez.
Was she a biatch?
No, she would just, point it out that it's like, what did she say? Something like, oh, I think you're in the, kind of in a snotty way, I think you're in the wrong room. It's like, yeah, I know, well, it was an emergency.
That's a funny story, though. I like it.
Yeah, just a note, don't assume that the restrooms are on the first floor if you're ever, in a restaurant or, hotel lobby, drinking at the bar or anything like that. It's just for whatever reason, it's like, wow. Don't wait till it's an emergency.
He said, look, I really had to go.
Well, I said that. I said, listen, we're down 3 flights or 4 or whatever the hell it was. It was an emergency. I'm sorry. And besides, I had to identify as a woman just for a minute, and yeah, I put the seat down. I thought that would smooth things over a bit, and she just gave me a look. It's like, screw off. All right, I'm going back to my drink.
But you had such a sweet breath, sweetheart. Can't touch this. Do 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 do.
Depends on what she looked like.
What did she look like?
Well, Brent said can't touch this, and I said depends on what she looked like.
Oh,
Hey, you
true.
guys remember the Spencer catalog calendar pictures on Spencer Gifts with Bridget?
Absolutely.
Yeah, tons of fun, baby.
W3.
I think Gordon's here, so we can start karaoke night.
What's that?
We're going to have karaoke here on 73.
No, that sounds good. That story's funny.
Oh, Gordon.
What's up, Gordon?
Hey, am I making the trip here? Everybody's pretty weak here.
Yeah, you're making it, Breaker.
Oh, give me it.
I am just weak.
I never saw Timtron come in and out so much.
That's rather sexual.
He said,
What's up, Bill?
hey, AB3AL, I'll make it legal.
How did you get a lot of snow?
Questions only get harder from here.
I guess you got no snow.
8 a.m., that's unusual.
I have 2 clicks. That's about 20 milliseconds later.
We all might get a bunch of snow this weekend. I like how these guys just fire up, an AM QSO real close there.
It's not too bright. It's on 69. It's like, what the hell?
Maybe he'll hear us and come up here.
Yeah, fat chance.
Anybody have any idea why my Optimod would kind of forget its IP address? I'm trying to use the software in the PC to remotely control it. Every 4 or 5 times I start the computer, it just won't connect.
Either a dead battery or whatever, but you can go into your router and configure the MAC address and bind it to a specific IP.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that. I've been using the IPv4 address when I hit IP config in the command prompt. I think I've had it with this off-center fed. I think I'm going to go with 450 window line like I used to have, but just tell the YL that it's safe and we will disconnect it before lightning.
Atta boy.
Pull your own, Gordon.
There you go.
Hey, a year ago I put up a InFed half wave. Never been happier.
Yeah, I mean, with the balance, when I used to run a KW&a with the, KPA 1500 Elecraft LD MOS amp that the lightning turned into a piece of charcoal chicken. I had absolutely no RF with the feed line. However, there were some frequencies where there were some voltage nodes or whatever they're called, and I just added about 5 feet or 10 feet here and there. Worked fine, and man, it was great. I could tune up anywhere, and I had 3 of them up there and a 3-element Yagi. So I'm going to put that 3-element Yagi back up with wire and do it all right. Just watch the lightning the lightning app, and you rarely get lightning out of the frickin' blue, right? I mean, you usually get some warning in the area, I think.
It's only
No rear end fed antennas, thank you.
Was that Brent?
You said no end fed?
Yeah, no rear end feds. Not versatile.
No, these I'm talking about putting up a 140-foot balanced dipole fed with 450 ohm window line into the balanced tuner. That's it.
That wasn't directed at you, Gordon. Nope, that's a good way to go.
Better than the off-center fed crap, right?
Hell yeah.
Especially with AM, I'm seeing this this RF. Boy, the band is doing weird things. You guys were booming in North Carolina, now you're all gone.
Brent, did you hear what the guy said to the proctologist?
No.
The guy goes to the proctologist and says, "Doc, my butt hurts." And he says, "Well, where does it hurt?" He says, right there by the entry point. Right there by the entry point. The proctologist says, "Well, as long as it's called an entry point, it'll keep hurting."
Ow!
Power.
W1IA, 7 o'clock.
Getting my 4 X-ray golf.
W1AW. Air pressure and 1 BCG.
W2GOR. I like the story between 1 BCG. That's very cool.
W3OR.
AB3AL. NFEDs are great. Properly done NFED balun is DC ground.
Is this the darkness?
I hear W1AW.
Wrecking ball. Your PW.
This is W1AW.
Yeah.
I can't believe he started a queue on 69 megs. 3869. What the hell?
He's been down there calling CQ for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I heard that, Jim.
Come on up here. Join the cool cats.
That's right. We're on the 5010 net.
Hey, Gordon, remind me, not now, but remind me to tell you the lightning shot from her butt story. That's a real 3873 pleaser.
Yeah, I will. That's taking the coupler off the Anon to see if that might help with the RFI situation here. It is already loading differently. I still hear a little echo coming in here. Tell us the story now. Why wait till later?
Gordon, you bumped your VFO again.
There's too many people have already heard it.
I say we should move up to 74 anyway.
All right, 74, 1 KC up. Thank you.
Get away from that QSO a little bit. The band's go along anyway. You guys are starting to fade.
See, there's a method to my madness of bumping into my VFO.
That's right. What up?
But you're still 50 over, Perry.
Shit. Gordon, what MIDI controller are you using?
It's so sensitive that if I just breathe on the frickin' thing, it moves to 3874. It's a Hercules. And it's so strong.
Hercules!
Hercules!
Exactly what I was picturing.
Oh, I see it now. Dude, that's the one. That's funny. That's the one I was looking at.
You get used to it, you know. It's I've mapped every single button on there, so it's cool.
Yeah, Behringer.
RF should not affect. Go ahead.
Sorry, Behringer makes one that I know a few people are using with the Anon. I forgot. Well, I can't remember the model number though. But so the dials aren't there on there. They're you know they don't click, you know, per se. So it's a pretty fluid movement.
On the VFO.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too fluid. You know, you just touch it and boom. I wish it had a sensitivity. But I did assign 2 buttons to the number of turns per whatever megahertz, so I can change it all the time so that you can change the number of revolutions.
You're very scientific.
Pardon me?
Like, honestly.
What, number 7? 5
Are you on number 4? You've got the egg roll 3.
Come with fried lice?
Let me get a bone that fried lice.
Substitute.
A
sometimes we put the 7 shrimp, sometimes we put the 8 shrimp. We have to take a time to count them, Mr. Gordon.
I want some young guy.
Okay. One more shrimp, okay.
You know, it's funny when you're at the table, they're so polite. You know, it's like, yeah, hi, what does the chicken ginger have in it?
Thank you for coming. Chicken ginger have a ginger, chicken, and 1 second. Okay. It has a vegetable.
I have a scorpion bowl for 2. 1 straw. Oh, such an Indian.
That is exactly how it is, Gordon.
You know, most Chinese restaurants don't have any cats in the neighborhood.
Well, you want to hear something funny? I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. I was walking down Wilshire Avenue in L.A., and I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, and I said, honey, 1 second. I got to tell you what I just saw. She said, what is it? I said, I'm passing an animal hospital, and there's a big square opening with a handle that opens up, and it's animal drop-off. Just to the right of that, about 15 feet, was a Chinese food pickup with another opening.
I've got a buddy who's an ex-Navy SEAL. He's half Korean, and his Korean uncle opened up a restaurant, and we do AV work, and he said, hey, Uncle wants to know if we can help him out putting in security cameras and sound system and hanging some TVs. He'll pay. I said, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. We drive to Columbia, Maryland. We pull up out front, and there's his restaurant. It's a little strip mall, three little shops in a strip mall. There's his shop, and right to the right is a pet store with a marquee over top the door that says brand new Chihuahua puppies.
Get out.
And I looked at my buddy, and he looked at me, and he says, I'll go talk to Uncle. This wasn't a good idea.
Sick.
That's really sick.
I've had some friends do business and go to Shanghai, and I don't want to repeat it on the air, but it's in need of definite evolution.
Oh, dog tastes good. Save tail for me.
I had a Bowser with fried rice, please.
Compassion 1.02.
I want some Shih Tzu stew.
I want poodle soup.
Also, when I ordered the fish with the vegetables, so much fish. I looked at my girlfriend. I said, "This is $9." I don't know. Something's bugging me.
It smells like fish.
Man, I used to love turtle soup. Grandma in West Virginia used to send us down to the creek with a 22 and say, bring home dinner, boys.
Is the solar flux going in the toilet?
Yes, it is.
What?
Yes, it is. That's a 10-4 there, good buddy.
Everybody.
We're on 74. Come on up a KC.
Oh, when did we get a 74?
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Wasn't it in the 130s or something a couple days ago?
Yeah, it's down in the 80s now.
Yeah, but 160 has been awesome.
It's true. 160 was open last night, and 10 meters was open today. It surprised me.
I'm going to 160 if the band is really stretched.
I've been getting all 160 in the morning. I was on there with Glenn M1SNG the other day at about 5, from 5 to about 6:30. Me, him, and K1IC Gary will get in there. My dad gets in there sometimes, and band usually stays pretty good up until about 6:30, almost 7 o'clock in the morning.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you just fine, man.
Harry, that was awesome. I came down and you were on 75.
Yeah, Gordon, I hear you just fine, Gordon, coming in well. Well, not great. Everybody's starting to fade except for Brent, but, yeah.
I went to this Korean place for a massage. I was so stressed out from work. I go in there. The lady starts giving me this rub down. It's okay. And she starts belching very silently right by my head when I'm face down, like a
sexy
MDLR. And I'm smelling like garlic. I'm like, excuse me, could you please? She said, sorry, hara pigadina. I said, that's okay. Just, yeah, thank you. Back up a little. All of a sudden, she puts her hand on my foot, and I noticed that she's talking to somebody, and then the rest of the massage is very weak. She switched with like an 88-year-old lady. I knew something was wrong, and I turned my head and I go, oh, hello. Hello. I said, what happened to the first day? He coming back. So she came back toward the end. I said, hey, this is not cool. I'm sorry, but that lady had about, a millionth of the power you did. She said, sorry, I had a telephone call. I said, no problem. So the massage was $60. I gave her a $20 tip. She looks at me and she says, Bushi. I said, what's a bushi? $20 bushi. I said, what's a bushi? Bushi. I said, oh, bull. I said, excuse me? Everybody giving me $100, $200, $300, $20 bushi. I said, here's another $5. No, $25 bushi. I said, then give it all back. No, I keep it, but still the bushi. I said, it's not bushi. I said, that's a 25, 30%. The woman proceeded to tell me her overhead. I have a Verizon Wireless. I have a part train for the taxi. I have a this. I said, listen, send me a spreadsheet.
You get happy ending?
Well, she grabbed something toward the end, and she said, $50 extra special massage. I said, don't ever touch that again, or I'll never,
You're killing me, Gordon. You cheap bastard.
No, but listen.
Learned something tonight.
I went there to relax, for crying out loud. I was so pissed when I left. I got dressed. I left. Then the owner comes out on the street. This Korean guy said, oh, thank God, he's going to slap her around. He goes, you'll never come back here again. A $20 bushi.
I had almost the same experience at the Bunny Ranch.
They were just shaking me down.
That guy is a true scumbag.
He's dead.
Thank God.
I told her to send me a spreadsheet. She's giving me her overhead when I'm trying to relax.
Yeah, just what you needed.
Anyway, now the whole family, when they think something's BS, they go, that's a bullshit.
Bullshit.
I think that expression's going to catch on this frequency.
I was just thinking we could use that as code right here, and nobody will know except us.
Yeah, you bullshit.
It's damn good. You can't make this stuff up.
Bullshit.
That's a bullshit.
Hey, let's go Brandon, bullshit.
Well, my girlfriend tells me, this lady wants to sell her business for $10,000 and it makes $100,000 a year. That sounds like a bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
.com, he bullshit. Everybody have a 20% of bullshit.
We're calling the bullshit net.
Oh, you a cheap Charlie.
Stand by for the bullshit net.
Oh, you cheap Charlie.
That's hilarious, Gordon. You're killing me.
No, and you know what? My girlfriend gave me a little neck rub the other day, and she was trying to break my chops. She went like she was belching behind my head. I said, get the hell away from me.
That's bullshit.
I was going to say that.
No, they make like a barrel of food for everybody there. It's like this huge vat of rice, and it's like, it's just such a crazy thing.
W1IA.
WBS of the bullshit. I don't know why your IDing is 713. It's going to throw off everything, the whole circadian rhythm of our ID.
Well, we're a little overdue.
W2GOR for the FCC.
If you double the
3AL, what the hell?
And one Boosie CG.
Careful, that sounded like something else.
No, that Boosie. And one Boosie CG.
Name of the president was a Georgia Bushy.
You gotta listen to, Tom Boo Christmas. Do you want some rice with that? Ding, rice is done. Ding, rice is done.
But, I mean, are there actual cultures where a woman will actually belch in front of you?
Oh, yeah. In China, in China, if you go to somebody's house and you're served a meal and all that, you're expected to belch at the table. Belching in China is considered a sign that you enjoyed the meal. Of course, I shared this at my cousin's house at Thanksgiving, and it didn't have the same effect.
No, but that sounded like a bullshit to me, because that sounds like some stuff I heard in high school. All I need to do is be invited to a Chinese guy's house and let an Henry L.R. burp out and have them stare at me.
In some European cultures.
That you enjoyed the meal. That's actually part of culture.
Swedes do it too.
And that's not a bushy?
So bushy.
Viking life thing.
Funny thing is, that lady who said that doesn't even know what BS stands for, what it really means.
Yeah, she's full of bullshit.
She was using it correctly.
Right. That's a bushy. Oh my God, when she was listing all the overhead for me, I'm getting dressed. Can you imagine? I wanted to get the hell out of there. I have a health insurance. I'm like, well, listen, at least you can afford health insurance. It's from all those $100 special massages.
Almost as bad as Hotel Street in Hawaii.
Happy landing?
Oh, you get happy ending for $500.
Oh my God! You can get a much better deal in the red light district in Amsterdam. What the hell, $500?
Thailand.
Oh, it's down in the Keys, Clark. You go to Hotel Street. You want to talk about check under the hood? Damn it! They got Adam's apples and long fingernails. Oh my God.
Ugh.
Oh, is this in Key West?
Yeah. Ugh.
Did Bushy.
See that. I've been working for a buddy's mechanic shop for the past week just to help him out. And I've been to 3 different parts stores in the past week, and all 3 of them had a 6-foot-tall guy with pigtails coming out the side of his head and painted fingernails and mascara.
Lovely.
Oh, man.
Do you want some parts? I can help you with your oil change. Would you like a little grease?
Well, one of them actually said, I can't believe, I appreciate you so much. And I said, why? He said, well, you're the first person that's come in here regularly that hasn't said anything to me or made fun of me. And I just looked at him and said, I don't care what you shove up your ass.
Jeez.
Wow. You're not the holding back of the bushy tonight.
Oh, Megan.
You'll never come back here again. Man, these people must really get $100 tip if they curse me for $25 tip. Maybe she kept the tip and put it in her underwear and told them I paid nothing, right?
Oh my God. It's just too crazy.
Next time you go there, just bring him like 100 yen. There you go. You want 100? Here's 100 yen. That bullshit.
You think I'm going back to that crap hole?
That's
One
back
day
when I
the
lived
guy
in Manhattan anyway. That's up in Westchester.
Petrol and lube supplies.
You got to consider it a field trip because we need you to report back the results of that.
A field trip. You got to write 6-page report.
Yeah, they were like lab class.
And these Chinese women, I feel bad for them. They always have that forlorn, longing look like. And I always say, you have kids? Yeah, I have 3 kids. Where are they?
China.
Or where are they? They're here. Where's your husband? Oh, no, have a husband. Like, what are these guys doing to these women over there? It's all mostly very sad stories, and they look at you like they would, in a minute.
Yeah, it's a bushi.
They get treated like boshi.
Oh, that's very true culturally. Yes, they do.
Not nice. Not nice.
I saw a political cartoon the other day. It had 2 Grim Reapers standing next to each other. And the one says to the other, "What are you here for?" He says, "Well, it's your time." He says, "Oh, man. You mean, yep, you're going to be reincarnated as a Chinese kid. That's what happens to us when we die." And next frame, 30 seconds later, they look at each other and said, "Girl?" "Yeah, girl."
That's right. If you're a child born as a boy, life's good. If you're a girl, it's horrible.
Oh, that's very evolved. I have a Chinese friend, a businessman I did business with. I really liked him. And I when Trump was elected, I got the chutzpah to say to him, what do you think about this intellectual property thievery? I mean, this is probably $1 trillion by now. He never spoke to me again.
That bushi.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't talk about it, screw you. I mean, you're not my friend. I mean, and that is a bushi.
Yeah, commie.
He was telling me about his wealthy friends over there, where it's more like a dictatorship. It's like a democracy for like 0.5%. He said his friends are buying Porsches and Lamborghinis and all this, and this one central bank, and very strange. It's not even communism.
You're different from us, though. We just don't think the same way we do. We don't think about individual liberty, or they can't imagine freedom the way Americans do. They got no conception of it. They've got 6,000 years of culture that demand allegiance to the family, to the town, to the state, in that order, and then only to yourself at the very end. It's very much a collectivist society. It always has been. It's perfect for communism. That's why it works so well for them.
Yeah, Americans are ignorant with their history.
There's got to be a propensity, I think, of people. It's not just how they're brought up. There's a reason. I think you're right. I think people are different, and probably lends itself well to the thinking.
It's not just history, Brent. It's current affairs and law. I mean, the next door neighbor's kids, all 13, I was helping out with some history homework. And they were going over the U.S. Constitution when they got to the Second Amendment, and it said the right for the government to bear arms. Right in the public school textbook.
Oh, I would be livid.
Oh, I sat in school with, I've got a stack of constitutions, and I sat in school with it, highlighted the Second Amendment, and said, ask your teacher why your book is lying to you.
Yeah, good luck with that. And he'll get a D.
No, he got detention for 4 days for questioning the teacher.
Are you kidding me? Oh, man, they're a bunch of bullshit.
It's been adopted, the terminology. Do I get any royalties?
I mean, I could understand if they want to push one political view or whatever. Okay, yeah, that's screwed up. But actually teach these kids that the law doesn't say what the law says.
Yeah, that's twisted. Well, that's happening, we can watch the degradation of society based on lies.
W2GOR with the light net.
W1IA bailing out. I'll see you guys. W1IA listening out.
Yeah, good show, folks.
All right, Brent. 83AL.
Hey, Brent, how is the tuner? Is it working well today?
What did you say? Is the tuna. You can't tune a piano, but you can tune a fish.
Oh, it's on the QRZ page, Gordon. It works awesome. 160, 80, 40, and up.
Yeah, you send me photos. I love it. All right, sounds great, man. You're using it right now?
Yeah, I'm on the array right now, but I've been all over the place with it. Awesome. I'll tell you about more, but thank you for the comments.
Okay, do you have a special button there called a bushi in case you want to load up a paper hanger?
I can load up a cat. Oh, sorry, cat missing. Part of number 7.
Cat of Mrs. Rosenberg ate the cat. Good night, man. I'll be back, guys. I'm going to hunt my RF in the shack here. My Optimod is not happy. This tells me that they don't put Optimods right near the base of the antenna tower at AM radio stations. W2GOR.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to be full of bullshit tonight.
To the Optimod.
I know.
Well, you bushy. You make bushy comment.
I make bushy comment to stimulate your cerebellum cortex, bushy.
No, that bushy. You ruin cerebellum. You bushy.
Cerebellum very delicious with the fried rice.
Stop asking if we know where your cat is. We don't know where my cat is. I got chicken. It's perfect.
Oh, man, this is getting bad.
I've actually made a note to myself, Bushi. That's officially been indoctrinated into this frequency.
Maybe the Henry L.R. glossary will have an addendum.
All you got to do is get Tim to say Bushi, and that's it. It's in.
It becomes a law.
Pretty much, yeah.
Ah, yes, I went down there and my BAs were hurting and I got some condensers and the lady fed me a mouthful of Bushi.
You eating a bushy?
I'll be back. W2GOR. You guys sound like you're in Kentucky. I don't know what happened to this band. We need some sunspots. I'll be back.
Yeah, none of you are Barstool copy anymore. N1 BCG.
Clark, you're 20 over here. 83AL.
You took that call sign from the first transatlantic treaty.
W4 PBS test. W4 PBS.
Station saying yay. Everybody. No more station on the frequency.
oscilloscope and I measured all the voltages, and they're the same between 80 meters and any other band. And I measured all the components, all the resistors match exactly the book. So I unscrewed the oscillator from the chassis, which broke the ground condition. And it's still working. But I can't understand. Every time I put the pedal back on it, it seems like it'll quit on me. But I have touched every one of the connections on all the rotary switches. And like I said, when I put other crystals in that slot, it oscillated just fine. It went off instantly. Zoom. So I'm kind of wondering what's happening here. I soldered the pins on the crystal just to make sure there wasn't something in the crystal itself, but it works perfectly on the oscillator tester. And now it's working for, I guess, almost 3 hours. I was wondering, would low activity on the crystal explain something like this? Over?
Yeah, I think it would. It's equivalent series resistance or something, maybe different from what you want. I've got an R4 here in front of me, but I don't know what model R4 it is. So you point the oscillator out of the unit? Plug-in oscillator or something?
I have a transistorized crystal tester. It's a frequency readout. It's a little thing from eBay. You plug a crystal in and it'll show you the frequency. And I used that to check the 14.9 megahertz crystal, and it worked perfectly. The crystal oscillator is on a 1.5-inch square board with a couple screws holding it to the chassis. I unscrewed it so I could tilt it and meter all the resistors. And then I put it back in, but I only screwed one screw down. Only one of the ground screws is connected at this point. I don't know that that makes any difference, but the darn thing's working.
And this is the 14.4, is that what it is?
I think it's 14.9.
Okay. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crystals, and then I see a place to put a whole mess of other crystals in. It's running a 6K oscillator tube. Is that what we're looking at? Looks like. I'm not sure. I think it may be some sort of a Pierce oscillator.
Transistorized oscillator.
Okay, well that's whatever break I'm looking at. Obviously, I'm looking at an R4. But which one did you say you were looking at?
I had to get the book. R4C?
Is that the one you bought from me?
Yep.
Well, I would have thought I would have had a diagram and stuff on it. I've got an R4, but I don't see an R4C. I see an R4B. Wonder why I don't have the C. Let me see what the B looks like. That's the B. Should be, but is down here. That diagram is the only thing I've ever had or looked at with somebody else when I download it. Yeah, this uses a transistor. 2N3394 it looks like.
Yeah, I checked the collector voltage, about 11 volts. I checked the base 3.9. The emitter is 3.3. The emitter resistor is within a few ohms of 330. All the connections and all the artery switches seem to be okay. And I also proved that the artery switches are not the issue by plugging in 10 megahertz and 20 megahertz crystals. And both of those took right off. So I was thinking, well, maybe it's a low activity crystal, and maybe my crystal oscillator tester is really got a lot of, zip in it. Over. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to tell you about that. See, there is one other resistor out there, a 15K. I guess you check that one that's outside of the oscillator circuit. Over there, I don't know. I guess it would just be possibly low activity, and of course maybe your oscillator that checks the crystals has got more gain. So don't know what to say. It's common base. We'll use the crystal in series with feedback from the drain reflector to the emitter. Crystal, you might be okay. Crystal might be okay. There might be some kind of a little bit of resonance in that circuit somewhere, something where it's not got quite the gain at that frequency that it has at the others. But I think you did the right thing by getting you another crystal, Owen. Yeah, Roger, now, you said there was a 15K resistor. I see a 1.5K. Yeah, I can't see it. It's too late at night for me to see the decimal. Okay, fair enough. Well, the thing that bothers me now is it's working. And it's done this to me a couple of times where I would hang on the bench and everything's working just fine, and I said, well, let's put the covers back on it. And it never worked, and then half an hour later, it kicked out. And I just never understood what that was. And I put a fan on it, and it doesn't seem to be temperature sensitive. I'm really surprised. Anyway, it had me questioning myself that I overlooked something. And the only thing I could figure is it's a low activity crystal. And the other crystals I put in there were also good active crystals, even though they were 10 and 20 megahertz. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on that. Sounds like a winner. Have yourself a good one. I will not be on in the morning. I'm picking up the camera. So, you can remember that for the rest of the group, so you don't get all nervous. Thank you, sir. WA4, PGI, N4MQ, and Leo. Alrighty. We'll say good evening to you. Good evening, Leo. Well, talk to you tomorrow sometime, maybe tomorrow evening, see how you made out on your adventure. And for MQs, WA4 PGI. Kim, are you still here? Don't tell Tim, he might have sucked all the oxygen in there burning the propane. Maybe his oxygen deficit killed his tomato plant. 7-4 WA4 PGI. Yeah, that's what I told him. At nighttime, plants usually absorb oxygen. And he might have been low on oxygen. I would not believe CO2. Hey, what's CO2?
soft snow, new snow. Man.
I gotta go to the doctors and figure this out, but it's an old gray kind of brown wrinkled finish. I'm guessing probably built in the 50s, maybe, or 40s. Nice job. And Keith couldn't tear it apart. And the modulator was 810s and 2300 volts, I think, on the Ford 250s. I may just put it back the way it was, but improve on it. We got the ability to put 4x4s. Keith's got a shitload of 4-400s. And, I have to mention this. The Valiant 500. He turboed it. Oh my God, what a job he did. And with some of your tips, he was able to put the Peter Dahl in it, 572Bs for the modulator, pair of those, did a crap load of bypass, negative feedback, and it sounds awesome. The only 500 I've ever heard that sounded really good. I was listening to it this afternoon, so let me see. So we were looking around the shop. He's got a crap load of parts, and the interstage transformer that we can use if we rebuild the modulator. We've got plate transformers, good for an amp, for that class of radio. But you remember WFEA? He's got a quad of 4x1s, and I started looking at that, getting wet dreams. Plate modulated pair of 4x1s. But I'm going to start with this radio. I know nothing about hollow state, Timmy. And I told him, I said, he said, you got to set up an area, work on one section at a time. I said, well, you and I are going to build it at your shop. Yeah, I don't have the room. So I want to build it at Keith's location where all the parts are available. So I can roll the power supply, work on the modulator. Although I was thinking, can I do a high-tech modulator? And then I thought about it. I'm going to keep it old school. W1 Henry LR, W1A.
Yeah, there's something like that. It's like for that 813 transmitter, I put a solid state of there's nothing like the blue glow and thundering vapor.
Yeah, the OA2s or whatever they were. I don't know if that's the tube and the Valiant 500 and the mercury vapor rectifiers, but I'm looking at that thing and I can think, what if I lived back in this era? So I kind of want to keep it stock. I don't give a shit about high power. I just want to build it.
Yeah. Well, to a lot of people, that's high power. So, is it a one-plate supply or separate?
I think it's a single plate supply, and it had decent current. It doesn't matter what the supply was. We have about 4 or 5 plate trainings down there that will easily make the voltage we need. So we've got lot iron, We got interstage, driver transformers, we got oil caps, we got slices of all flavors, but for compact reasons, even though it's a big, tall chassis, and they're all done in that black, gray, tan, wrinkled finish. All the front panels, you did a really nice job on it. So I want to keep it stock. And if I can run the 250s and the 810s, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, sure. Well, you know, well, 2,300 volts, so, you know, if the stock supply is good and the regulation is not bad, hell, I'd go with that. The only thing you're going to want to probably do is, assuming it's a common supply, would be to make sure you're off your filter cap output. Make you say 20 minutes. A lot of these old buzzards, you know, 4 microfarads was it. You want to try and upgrade it to what I would call good, you know, capable of good audio standards. And then the other factor is remote transmitter. And what Keith has and what's in there. And I'd be very curious to know if you take stock of it, because I'm very familiar with all the old stuff. And the other thing is 810s are a little more difficult to come across these days. But you know what works very well instead? There are triode connected 815s.
Well, we looked at that, and will they fit in the same socket?
No, you don't choose socket. Same filament voltage and temper, but different socket. But the thing about the 14 socket is if you have the 810s and they're good, you might as well use them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but, you know, I have no problem with mods. If I have to, you know, I'd like to see a robust, readily available tube. So 810s are a little eclectic because they're not readily available, and I agree with you from what I know about them. Hey, for that matter, why not 572Bs?
Bs and 811s are 25-watt filaments, and they make the same amount of maximum peak emission. The difference is the 572B with its graphite anode, you can crank the voltage up. And as it is, the 572B is just barely adequate for the Jason 600, that being a single 4-400. But I'm running 2700 on both the modulator and the PA. That's what I'm saying. The 4-250s. You're going to want something that's more robust. You know, one thing I like is no dare to be a 3500Zs. They're biased triode modulators.
You know, here's another thought. Keith's got a boatload of 4x4s, so why not 4x4s?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that. Thing is, 4-4 seats. You got to see when they're out, they can be operated one of two ways: either triode connected the Herringham waterway, or in AV2 or AV1, AV2 is going to be a little bit better. Now you see with the Tetrons, 2 of the 41000, is that when they're used in audio service, the load impedance is determined by the plate voltage on the tube with the spring voltage subtracted from it. Therefore, that will limit the monkey swing. So you have to work them into a lower impedance than you would for a similar trial. Unless you're on the plate voltage up there. So I started playing around with triode connection. Now, the thing about triode connection is you have a transformer, like I use like a Mott transformer, where multi-mesh transformer, where the whole higher impedance winding of the secondary drives screens, and the taps closest to the secondary center tap drive the grid. So I call it differential drive. It's just getting the grid on it because amateur grade non-iron is not the best. And I would have high frequency distortions, but for years I was always tangling ass with various amplificators because it was my, But the thing about the triode connection is you don't have to screw screen or bias in the only if you have the correct piece of mono, a pair of 4-400s AB2. So with AB2, you only run at about 300, maybe 400 on the screen instead of 600. Therefore, you'll have that much more monkey swing. And all you need is maybe a peak capability of 10 watts of audio. And that would do that.
Yeah, okay. Hang on, sorry about that. Damn it, shut off. Well, I got a number of different ways to go. So, last question. What if we went with 811s or 813s in the modulator?
Screw the 811s. 813s and then DX, it was a transmitter with a pair of 400s on it. He had a pair of triode connected 813s, and he was complaining that there's not quite enough there. Then you got one of John Jumbo Joint's custom Peter transformers that have almost a 1-to-1 ratio. And you pull it up, so you look at the transmitter, big peekable window, and there's 4 E13s like soldiers all in a row, glowing away. So 4 of them are just parallel. That gives you much.
Okay. I'm looking at what match impedances for. We got a complement of Mott iron. I mean, I could drive a 4x1 or a pair or a quad with the Mott iron Keith has. But keeping back to the original formula, the 810s, the sockets are there. The Mott iron was adequate for the design, from what I understand. I got to build a plate supply because the plate supply was inadequate. So we're figuring for the 250s or 4x4s, and it depends on whether or not, if we run the 4 250s, I think it was 2300 volts. The 4x4s will probably need a lot more voltage than that, and I can do almost anything. I don't want to modify the DX100. I could roll my own VFO and come up with the audio I need to, drive it. RF to drive it. So that's really not a problem. But I'm kind of thinking, if I stick within the guidelines of a 1950s, 1940s transmitter, I'll screw it. Make it, restore it. I don't know if I want to go to worry about everything when I can just put it back together and make it dependable with some good fidelity. I don't really care about, power. This is just for fun. And 160/80/40, he must have had a B&W in there at one time, my guess. He had 160/10 in it, over.
The same way, you put, even the 3 kV on 4-250. I should always say you settle in on 2.5, 2100 volt. Power supply. The 4-250, you can figure you'd be running a little more conservatively, so storing those kilowatt input, you probably get a good 750 volts, so not too shabby. And they'll glow, they'll get a little red in the face. Get the 4400s in there and do the same thing, maybe load it a little more heavily. Get a little bit more power out, but you never see the difference. Now, one thing that a lot of people do not realize is that they think that running a tool like a 4400 at reduced ratings where it doesn't get red in the face, maybe over a period of time, it might tend to get a little gassy. So how is you gotta run them hard and plate to plate. Because when you heat the plate of the tube is getting red in the face, the tube is guttering itself and removing whatever residual gas there is. Where you run afoul is if you don't have enough air cooling the base pin seals and the plate seal, and if you're expecting, if you're overloading the tube as far as pulling too much current from it. And watching the filament voltage is very, very important. You don't want to exceed the nominally rated voltage of 5 volts. We're always doing some things. We're using any thorium tungsten filament tubes like that. So there you go. As far as common plate supply is the way to go. I know there's some guys that insist on separate plate supplies, but to me, you got twice as many moving parts, if you will, and I'd rather just have one big ass supplier do the whole thing. That's my perspective. As far as the non-transformer impedances, like, are they multi-match transformers? Are they fixed ratio? Or just what does he have? I'll give you a little primer if you want to take mental note.
Yeah, okay. I made some really good points about filaments and gettering on the tube stem, so I'm going to remember this because I plan on doing it. So I'm thinking stick with the 4250s, and anyway, go ahead.
And this is assuming triode modulators. Tetrodes is a little different, as I've said. This is only with a common plate supply. And I'm speaking impedance ratio, not turns ratio. With an impedance ratio of 3 to 1. 3 to 1 is the most efficient match for taking the emission capability of a given set of modulator tubes to make 100%, and would require the least amount of audio driver power when operating at flat speed. 3 to 1. 3 to 1 ratio, you'll be able to do maybe around 105% positive. That's it. A lot of broadcast transmitters are done that way. Then, the next step along the path is your 2 to 1 ratio. 2 to 1 impedance match, you'll probably make about 125% positive. The modulator tubes will pull a little bit more average current to do the job and require a little bit more audio driver power to make things happen. I like 2 to 1. It's a good all-purpose ratio. Then a 1.5 to 1 impedance step-down, which is more rare. That'll give you close to 150% positive. And a 1 to 1 ratio will give you 200% positive. Now look at it this way, and Chuck and I have had these discussions, that AM with your usual envelope detectors are, diode detector begins to flatten out when you exceed 100% positive. So all these guys in the Class E rigs are saying, well, I'm hitting 175% positive. Really doesn't do that much good because it's getting lost in people's receivers' detectors. And most of the time, this SX62 with the type of detector it has seems to handle it all right. I don't notice any really adverse distortion. Some receivers fall apart. My R388, I've got a full-way bridge detector in that. Same with the H2110, full-way bridge detector. I really like that. But the way I see it is your speech has its own natural asymmetry to it. I know some people that will use phase rotators and all that to get rid of that. And I hear all these pros and cons. Myself, it's throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. So you basically take a good look at your, you get very used to what your voice, vocal characteristics will do as far as asymmetricality. And you build your modulators to be able to do that. The fact of the matter is, when you have a transformer on the signal path, particularly a less than perfect modulation transformer, it's not going to be reproducing the asymmetricality factor all that well, depending on a number of factors. So, the way I see it, you see a transformer will not pass DC. And the highly asymmetrical capabilities of Class C transformers, that's because it's direct And in ink. Any direct couple design, be it Hall state or solid state, the same rules apply. So there are ways to offset the purpose of the monolinear is just it does not handle asymmetrical audio waveform all that well. A greater the core mass, along with a greater amount of inductance to go along with it, the better it's going to work, to a point. Now I'm looking at my own signal, and the positives are going way up there. I'm using a modulation transformer from a Viking Walnut in this Ranger. But the high voltage is only about 275. It's operating in the low power mode to drive the amplifier. And a pair of 6550 with everything resistance coupled and all that. There's much system headroom. So, you know, that kind of proves a point. The other thing is my gloves felt a Felix. I've got a stand for it.
31.
25 on multi-match mod transformer. And I'm using a single 6550 to modulate a single 2E26. But that's a single-ended modulator. It's a different principle. And it, you know, is an exciter to be quite effective. But you see, the mod transformer, because of DC current flow going through the modulator tube, not only the PA are in opposition to each other, cancels out the flux at the core. So you don't have to get the core, nor do you need a modulation reactor. So you can have a transformer of tremendously high inductance. So, you know, therein lies the effectiveness of it. The other thing is that the modulator tube is actually single-ended AD1, and in the operation, the negative peak at the grid of the modulator tube winds up being the negative peak of the modulated waveform, so that there's an offset on one side, so there's that much more headroom. Now I'm going to do show and tell. I'm going to flip the phase. Alright, I flip the phase. And it's really looking constipated and kneeling the face off the sound. And two. And then it came from negatives of the and positives of about 50-60%. It doesn't look good. It's like a improperly operating AM transmitter. So that's the thing. People caught in negatives within reason. I still see it with back then a little more. Because I have the thing that came in, and the overall amount of all the product going material is that less. So therefore it is going to sound weaker. The mod transformer like the DS100 has a small piece of mod iron and whatnot like that. You reverse the phase and you'll see a difference, but it's not that profound. So I'm going to flip the phase. And bring the modulation up. 1, 2, 1, 2, just a bit. That's a little. Yay. So you probably heard the difference. W198 and W818.
Yeah, very good, Tim. And interesting. could see it on the, spectral display when you were looking at the phase shift. And I made some notes. Modulation ratio 3 to 1, 100%, 2 to 1, more audio, etc., etc. And I'm going to stick with the 2 to 1 ratio. I got to look at the existing iron that was supplied in the original project. How you copying me? Over.
No problem. You dropped off, I think, the winner off the fan. It's going to be a little bit long.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll keep it short. But that being said, I'm going to look at the existing modulator that's in it. And for ease of construction, I think, the single plate supply should be close to what was in it. But I'd like to restore it versus modify it and run the Ford 250s with the 810s and just, restore it to the point where we'll make improvements on it. And we got a couple options for drivers, for RF, whether it be the DX100 or, some other circuit. I don't know yet. But anyway, I'll let you know. Next time I'm over there, I'll take some pictures and ship them off to you. And I got to change my tack. I'm used to working in the solid state world. And it's time for a plate modulated transmitter here at the station. And I don't want something obnoxious. Could I do something bigger? Yeah, you know me, but I don't see the point. I want to learn from it, and Keith is knowledgeable, and I got some work to do over there to help him out with the Valiant 500 Turbo, and boy, what a great sounding radio. So with that, before the band completely goes away, I'll talk to you later. Man, I gotta go to the doctors. I can't even think straight anymore, Timmy. W1HLR, say hi to Marcy, W1IA.
Okay, Brent, well, rather than be fixated on a particular mod transformer ratio, and what you do is you look at all the mod transformers you have available, and there's a number of tests that can be done simply to validate and get the best possible piece of iron for the job. And that's a discussion at another time. Believe it or not, for what I'm doing here with this thing, the Valiant mod transformer is about the best possible piece of iron. Believe it or not. So, it's ridiculous overkill, but hey, that's what you gotta do with dinosaur technology, is you overkill. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed, Brent. I'm here. I hear you struggling a bit. And, it is concerning. I'm wondering if it's all the stress that you've been under. Do you think you should take some kind of sedative or something to wind down?
No, I had a blood flow problem. I'm convinced, Timmy. A couple of weeks ago, I had a blood flow problem. I'm convinced of it. I carotid arteries, and it had this watery sound in my ears, kind of pulsing, and I think I had a mini stroke.
You mean a TIA?
Yeah, I don't know.
You gonna get it checked up tomorrow?
Yeah, I better. It's getting worse. I can think straight, but I can't get the words out.
Well, you're doing all right so far. So, no. You imagine you told your wife about what's going on with her.
No, I didn't want to worry her. Between the cancer and everything else, so, you know, if I bite the bullet tomorrow, screw it. You know, life was good. I got a lot of friends. Say a nice thing about me and I'm dead.
Yeah, I suppose. It'd be your duty to talk to Colleen about it. So she's not really surprised. You know, keep my fingers crossed for you about it. Oh, man. Well, try and have a good night. And, I'm obviously not going to be around in the morning or for a while because I'm going to be getting
Yeah, okay, Tim, and I appreciate it and your thoughts. We've always been friends, and you know, regardless of what happens, maybe it is stress related. I don't know. It's very frustrating, but I can still build shit on the bench. So screw it. I might have to go to CW if I can't talk anymore. But you know what? I'm going to plod along and not worry about it too much. But it's a little upsetting. But you know what? I love this hobby. And every winter, I get into the building mode. And that's where the fun's at. I think I enjoy building stuff and the satisfaction of putting it on the air and having it do what I expect. And I'm not that smart, but I'm smart enough, I guess. W1 Henry LR, W1IA. Say hi to Martin.
You take care. Yep. Need to have you around. Put the show later.
7-3, W1A.
as usual. And still chugging away at other little things around the house. Took most of last week off, but back immersed in it this week. So felt great. Got a lot of projects done. And loose ends tied up last week. Just spending the days kind of feeling like you accomplished stuff. I really enjoyed that. So there you go. Bill, thanks for running that. Be listening through. Hopefully the band hangs in there for us. W1CKI is internet. W2ILA. W2ILA, W1CKI in the Gray Hair Net. Yeah, okay, on the Royals experience there in Wyoming and the fires and so forth. Yeah. I know, that was on TV. That was quite tremendous. Wow. I guess the wind, like you say, was really what took it off. Let's see. Yeah, okay, on the S40B. Yeah, that's going to take a little time to repair, but maybe not too hard to do. Those are fairly easy to work on. So maybe somebody will tackle the task. Let's see. Well, the T3 is doing a fine job. The 300G, I'm sure, is going to do great when you get it on there. Okay, Tom. Let me pick up David, and then we'll have a call up to see if anybody else is out there. N9PVF, you still there, Dave? Go ahead.
Gentlemen, take notes on how to do this. Probably going to be a rocky episode. So my number one thing is I've got the Ranger, and I'm going to write up all my notes and I'll send it to you so you can critique as secretary and tell me what I missed and what I've done. I got the Ranger on primary radio, and first I only got 120 watts of test. Now, what did I do wrong? So I kept testing the loading, and eventually between the Ranger and the linear, I got 600 watts out. So I said, okay, that probably sounds a little better. So I also didn't, I don't think, damage the tubes, but, I'll tell you. Didn't let the smoke out yet. So Twilight Zone. We have been watching Twilight Zone marathons. I think it was TNT that did it, turning network television. And there's always a gimmick in it. There's always a surprise and a good action. Someone also mentioned William Shatner before anybody knew who he was. But there's another thing to find if you are very lucky. We used to have a station that was broadcasting, the best way to describe it is remember it. And it was Westinghouse Studio One. And they had the most amazing thing. So the only reason they had some of these, they started doing the 47s, and ended at 57s. There's no videotape until like 52, 53. Somebody took a 16mm movie camera in front of the monitor. That's the only reason they had some of the early units. If you've ever seen the movie with Henry Fonda, 12 Angry Men, there's 30-minute version of that. It's just wonderful. So, Twilight Zone is favorite. Wiki will tell you all the episodes, the dates, the short story. I think we have seen every one by now. We have our favorites. But anyway, the knee surgery seems to be a good way to flush out people who have corona. In September, we went to Cleveland for a wedding of a good friend's son. And, everybody was vaccinated and yada yada. And now we made it home, and the next day, my phone call, his brother, the father of the groom's brother, went in for the knee surgery, and he tested positive. So we spent about 40 minutes in a line by off the editorial, one foot stand. Anyway, Twilight Zone is great. We haven't watched them in years, but they've always been good. But if you can, try to hunt down Westinghouse Studio One or possibly on YouTube. So, W1CKI, I'm writing up all my notes on what to do. What I'm going to do is stand in sunlight and hopefully pass. Back to you, Bill.
And 9 PBF, W1CKI and the Great Hair Net. Okay, David, yeah, very good. Yeah, interesting on the Westinghouse Studio One. That kind of sounds familiar. I wonder if they had a radio program back in the 40s. I wouldn't be surprised. And they had some real interesting science fantasy ones back then, that's for sure. Yeah, okay, David, and yeah, very good on that power output. Well, just take a peek at the 3500Zs, and if they're glowing a nice orange color, they're fine. You're getting the maximum out of them, that's for sure. And that's a rugged amplifier you got there. That thing will probably perform very nicely. Okay, yeah, okay on the COVID test and all that stuff. Yeah, what a pain, huh? Okay, let's see. Any latecomers or newcomers for the Gray Hair Net? Go ahead. Okay, nothing heard. Let's go to Steve. K1MV up in Durham, Maine. Go ahead, Steve. Your turn.
Busy the other day, about 8 degrees, I took the dog out for a walk. We made the way, about 6 miles from Staten. I was trying to go away on those kind of little breeze. I shaved 6 foot and my face was roasted. But we went out for a few minutes. Good to hear everybody on the net. Oh, the other thing I did is I smoked some pork chops. Such a great job this evening. W1CKI.
They want them leads. I mean, yeah, it was nice to have the sunshine for it. You like it so you can generate electricity. Yeah, that's really good. And, yeah, okay, I mean, that's it too. Well, hopefully you guys can come out. We get some snow up there. I hear they do fight me with that Charlie. And, yeah, the gloves. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Patty Cats, so they do take a beating, so, straighten out, working hard. Yeah, same thing with the snow here. It's the same about 3 to 6. I'm not sure which. Just before finally the American weather model and the European weather model agreed, which is a bit surprising. So I guess it's definitely we did some. Yeah. Let's see. In the Twilight Zone, yeah, I can imagine if you went this one. It would be interesting to see how that was 33 years ago. Sure it's changed a lot since. Okay, Jerry, thanks for checking in here. I hope you had a good New Year. Okay, let's see if we can pick up Pedro. He's going up north. This was a little rough, but let's see how we can do. WA4KEO. WA4KEO. Go ahead, Pedro. Over.
Well, I'm running an Anabonic CP3 in the symmetric 540, which I only use that for downward expansion. I've got an air conditioner in here, it's kind of noisy. Go ahead, Eric.